Welcome back to the brewing class. Today we're going to be talking about the ingredients you need. On the last episode we talked about the equipment. Prior to that we talked about an introduction on why I, Ty Stevenson, feel worthy of giving you guys the knowledge and everything you need to live a life full of abundance working with craft beer. So there's only four main ingredients in brewing beer. You have malt, hops, yeast, and water. Water is always the most underlooked. I don't know why. It's the most important. It makes up like 80% of the beer, or some 95% of the beer. But anyways, those are the four main ingredients. And in malt, it's roasted barley. Roasted malt. Malted barley, sorry. So then you have hops. Hops are a cousin of marijuana. They grow on tall vines up to 30 feet tall, usually in moderate temperature. Up in Washington and Oregon are good examples of good hop growing regions. Yakima Valley is one of them. That's what this beer is called, actually. Yakima Valley IPA from San Miguel. And hops are kind of like the spices of beer, whereas malt is the backbone. The malt will give you all the fermentable sugars. It will give you the color, and it will give you a lot of the mouthfeel. The hops are like the spices, more salt and pepper, basically. Some hops are very tropical and citrusy. Some hops are very spicy and herbal. So you have to kind of just know what hops you want. For IPAs, typically you want more tropical, citrusy, something like Citra, Mosaic, Cascade even. For things like stouts, you want something just more bitter and neutral, such as like Magnum or Hallertau or Northern Brewer. And then we can go on to the yeast. Yeast is arguably the most important of all the four ingredients because this is what produces the actual alcohol. The yeast are little microbiomes that eat up all the sugar and produce carbon dioxide and other off flavors to give your beer alcohol and carbonation and general flavoring. There's many different styles of yeast. Some are ale and some are lagers. Lagers ferment on the bottom, ales ferment on the top at higher temperatures, and they take shorter amount of time, give off more fruity esters. Esters is a byproduct of the yeast. And lagers, more clean fermentation, longer, colder temperatures. And just like hops, there's many different varieties. Some are perfect for stouts, some are perfect for IPAs, some are perfect for Belgian style beers, higher temperature fermentation for those Belgians. It all depends what kind of beer you're looking to brew. And the last ingredient is your water. So most people say if it's good drinking water, it's good brewing water, and that's a general yes. If you really don't know anything about brewing or in the water, that's generally okay. But if you do know something, you know that basically the harder, the more bitter, the more impactful and dark the beer is, the more okay it is to have harder water. The more softer and like lagers and pilsners, you want more softer water. This is very generalization. It gets pretty chemistry and scientific that is difficult to understand. As you see down here, water, that's one of my specialties is the water. So for a 5-gallon batch of New England IPA, you want it to be softer, a little bit bigger mouthfeel, but emphasize the hops. So for that, if you start with all reverse osmosis water, which is 0,000 in all categories for the mineralized, the ions in the water, you will be adding roughly 5 grams of calcium chloride, 2.5 grams of gypsum, 2 to 3 grams of Epsom salt, and roughly 2.5 to 3 grams of baking soda. Those are the four minerals you'll add to your reverse osmosis or distilled water to bring your mineralization levels up to whatever you want for that style of beer. Stouts are going to be different. You're going to need to add more baking soda because those dark malts you use when brewing, they bring the pH up, and so the baking soda will drop it back to balance out that pH. If you don't do that, the pH will be fluctuated, typically higher. So those are the four ingredients for brewing beer: water, malt, hops, and yeast. If you guys have any other questions, shoot me an email, brewer@thebrewingclass.com. Once again, my name is Ty Stevenson. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.